So today I just wanted to take a quick look at 1974's Female Trouble. Obviously the film title is a very obvious reference to the menstrual cycle, but it very much takes an alternate meaning here because we do have Dawn Davenport, obviously played by Devine, who is a delinquent teenager, if you will. So she is very much a spoiled child, very selfish, takes her parents for granted, doesn't care for her schooling. Basically just one of those basic trouble girls. We all know the sort. But she basically runs away from home on Christmas Day. She has sex with a random stranger who picks her up, who impregnates her, and then denies ever having known her. So she is now stuck, a single mother with a child she never wanted. So for a brief time we do see that she takes up work as a stripper, a prostitute, and then settles as a petty thief. One day she is recommended to a fairly posh salon. They actually take applicants. She was lucky enough to have been accepted. Apparently they only take the trashiest of clientele, if you will. So she fits in perfectly. She meets her future husband there, who later cheats on her. They separate, but through having made that contact at the salon, she becomes great friends with the owners of the salon, who pretty much turn her into a supermodel, if you will. So they obviously have a thing for photographing her as she commits numerous crimes. They feel that the act of committing crime makes a person more beautiful. Dawn obviously buys into this. And of course, later having her face scarred by acid, and just shellacking makeup over it, she becomes convinced that she is still very beautiful, and she buys into this madness, if you will, this very heightened psychosis. She becomes even more outlandish, very unruly. And basically just heads on a downward spiral from there. But basically, I would say that the film feels more like a social commentary on not necessarily America, but society's obsession with beauty and fame, which to some degrees, yeah, they are very unrealistic expectations that are placed on a person, and especially in the situation of the child star, you definitely do have people who act out. They become just very crazed, if you will, very similar-esque to Dawn Davenport's behavior. But I think, and I may be wrong, it may not have been intended as a social commentary, but it very much feels like they are making some sort of a statement here. Obviously, the film does end with an execution. Definitely a lot of crazy stuff happens in between. I really don't want to spoil any of that. If you haven't seen this, I would definitely recommend you take a look. It's definitely a lot of fun, but we get to see a more toned down Devine, and then go progressively into a slightly more crazed look. So it's basically Pink Flamingos in reverse, if you will. We kind of go from a very normie look to something very outlandish, rather than something that's just totally kapow and in your face and just stays that way the entire time. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. As always, you do have a great deal of John Waters players just doing an immense amount of overacting. The line delivery, the dialogue is just awesome. It's extremely exaggerated, which just makes it fabulous. It really works for these films, It's very much a trademark of a John Waters film. But yeah, that is pretty much all I had for you guys today, and I will talk to you later.